You know, was there an intention behind remaining almost faceless to some degree up to this point?
We used to like do sessions with artists, then we take pictures with them, and we looked even more corny than we look now, you know what I mean? An artist actually gave us the advice to, hey bro, maybe don't show what you look like, make the music speak for it, and then maybe that'll help do business for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the One More Time podcast. I'm Playback Ben here with my co-host.
Henry with a 3, because Henry with an E was already taken.
Henry, we have two people on the couch today. Who do we have in the motherfucking building?
I am so honored for our 99th interview to be welcoming in legendary podcasters, boxers, YouTubers. It's the Paul brothers, Jake and Logan.
Good one.
Was that the roast?
That's
I
it.
tried my best, yeah.
We just were like white brothers.
Wait, who's Jake? And who's...
They're the
Not,
Pauls.
not sure we gave
I don't
that
know
any
who's who.
thought. Yeah.
I didn't guess
Who do you
who's
want to
older.
be?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They both kind of
he's
We're
older,
all
so,
out of
yeah.
shape, you know, so... I don't know.
In all seriousness, we got legendary production duo. We got Bankroll Got It in the house.
Got it.
AKA Joel and Taylor.
Yeah.
Joel and
Indeed.
Taylor Banks.
Yeah.
Joel and Taylor Banks.
That's
so
actually
yeah.
where Bankroll Got It comes from. Our
I didn't
last
even
name
know that.
Banks.
Yeah, the last name's Banks.
Yeah.
Do your
that.
fucking research, Henry.
There's levels to this shit.
Yeah. So I did want to ask, like, what inspired you all to become like an official duo versus just operating as, you know, strong collaborators? Because there's tons of producers that just collaborate almost on every record. I know a bunch. Like, what was the decision making process behind, like, hey, let's actually just do this under one brand, Bankroll Got It? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, so it goes back actually deeper than even just me and Taylor. I was always doing beats. Taylor was too. And I had a different group and ended up, as it fizzled out and life got more real, we all had jobs, blah, blah, blah. Our little brother started playing with beats, just FL. He used to love, like, what was it, like metal?
So it's a third brother.
Third brother named
started
Matthew,
making
yeah.
beats,
So
Our younger brother. Yeah.
He would listen to like metal song, like, you know, normal rock shit. Well, not normal, but rock shit. And then he started listening to Waka Flocka and stuff like that. So he like started to want to make beats because it kind of
He wanted to go hard in the paint.
exactly.
Exactly.
So
Jesus, Henry.
he actually kicked it off, and just for me personally, you know, it's more fun with somebody else. You know, a lot. And most people do it by themselves, but for us, it's like kind of winning with the team as opposed to you go back and forth off feedback and off the energy, and when you know that you celebrate the wins together and you learn from each other. So he started it, and you know I jumped in to work with him, and then Taylor jumped in because he always did it too. We started traveling together, and then it slowly just became Bankroll Got It pretty much as a group.
And we're not from like a city that's big in music, so
Where are you from?
so we're from the Bay Area, but we're from like a small city within the Bay Area, you know. So we used to, and we didn't make like Bay Area type beats when we first started coming up. So we'd fly to LA, fly to Atlanta, fly to South by Southwest, all that. And we didn't know a single person in the music industry. We didn't have any connections. We didn't know any managers or anyone. So like, we had to do it all ourselves. So flying to these places, meeting people by yourself, that's tough. So like when you have someone else, we can go like link with people together, network. That's why we started drinking Hennessy. We're always a little, you know, loose.
Yo, I've been to those things and been like, if Henry's busy and I'm trying to like go to an industry thing, that shit's like, it's kind of nerve wracking, bro, for real. So like, I can imagine like having someone by your side, especially blood brothers, to be there, like shooting your shot with whoever it is that you're trying to network with and, you know, make plays with. Like, that's got to be a little bit more like comforting, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And now these days when songs come out, you know, every Thursday or whatever, like we celebrate, you know, it's like you're winning together, you know, versus like you by yourself celebrating your song by yourself, you know, you're like,
light
it's
yourself
just
a
different.
little cake with a candle, like sad.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just more fun with collaboration. I think any artistic medium, it's like if you're just creating for yourself, it's definitely not as fun.
Yeah, and we're blessed, you know, we're brothers and all of us are friends too. You know, I know sometimes family dynamic doesn't work well. What do they always say? Don't do business with family. But in our case, I trust Taylor more than I trust anybody. I trust Sean too, but you know, Sean's extended family.
Shout out Sean Mula in the building.
Shout out Sean Mula in the house.
Sean is a Banks brother now, technically, you know. So
You can't hear it, but I'm hitting the alarm sound for you.
Whether he likes it or not. But yeah, so we were going to start talking about this, but like, how did y'all decide to start working with Sean as your management, and like what went into that decision making process, right? Because it's a big deal, like finding someone to trust your career with, and like for them to go make the right plays and like, you know, handle business correctly. I mean, that's a big step, and a lot of manager situations don't work out initially because maybe people rush into it. So like, you know, how'd y'all link? What went into that process? Like, you know, put some game, you know, out there for people.
Yeah. So I guess you tell how we first linked with him, and I'll go from there.
So yeah, our little brother, he worked for like a programming company, you know, out in the Bay Area. So he had an intern that was just under him, kind of learning the ropes from him. And the intern was talking about music, and you know, Matthew was like, "Oh, you know, I make beats too." He's like, "That's crazy because one of my good friends is in music, you know, interning for like Republic or whatever." So we're like, "Oh, let's talk to that guy." You know what I mean? Happened to be Sean interning at the time. So at that time, we didn't have a manager. We were just utilizing different people around the country that we knew to shop our beats for us. You know, we give them some sort of a percentage, you know, like if you place it, but it's, you know, not exclusive. Just you make money if you play something, you know.
Did that work at all?
Not at all. So
okay, because I'm like wondering, like, hey, y'all producers, like, y'all should do that.
But yeah, so that's what was
in theory
crazy.
it does, because we found Sean who made it work.
Okay.
So it did work in that regard, but it was just funny because we met so many people in so many different cities that we'd meet them and they'd sit us down and they'd talk that talk. This is what I can do for you. Here's what I know. And we'd be like, cool, we'll give you 30%, play something. I don't care. Like play something, like show us what you can do. And literally no one would do anything. Like everything they said, no one would do anything.
Most people just sign a contract off jump. Just someone sounds good. So you should do this non-exclusive. Just make people hustle for you. Otherwise, you're stuck with this guy. Yeah. And so they never did nothing for you, but now you're contractually like screwed.
Actually, yeah. So that's what we did with Sean. We're just like, we're not committing to anything, but let's see what you do. And we didn't actually. I don't think to this day we ever really signed paperwork with Sean. But like for years, he just hustled for free. And proved to us year after year that he's still going hard. And then it just like grew and grew, and our trust grew and grew with him. And then like we saw that he's really like, you know, hungry. Like, and that was the other thing we did is like some of these more old head people that they can pick up the phone and call people maybe a little quicker, but then you're not their top priority. So we always wanted someone that was more like young and hungry and was willing to put in the work, send the emails, send the packs, call people, like really doing the legwork. And that's what he wanted to do, and that's what he's been able to do.
And not go sign like 5 more people right after you.
Right. And then get all booked up. Yeah.
Right.
That's so fucking underrated though. Like I just want people to hear that, right?
That's game for y'all out there.
Just because anyone can step into the game and say you're a manager. We've talked about this with Jets and Maid's manager TP. We've talked about this with Fane, who was another manager that you know used to be over at Cinematic, right? Under Hovain, who's a legend, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Yeah, but like anyone can step into the game and say they're a manager, and that's fine if they do have the hunger, the passion, the willingness to go hard for you guys, and the business savvy, of course, to like get the job done, right? Because at the end of the day, you don't need a manager degree from a college. You don't need to have gone to some school and get your master's in management or something.
Do they even have that? Is that even a thing?
I have no fucking clue because it doesn't matter because it's not required to get the job done. So I think that what you guys did is smart, and that's kind of something that, you know, when I was working with Henry and like starting to manage a couple artists as well, is that doing that just kind of like trial period where it's like, yo,
prove yourself,
prove yourself. And that's not meant to be like a flex on y'all's part or whatever. It's just more like we've got other people that are saying the same shit. Like, let's just make sure this makes sense for both parties almost, right? Because it's a big commitment from a manager. He's given his time, energy, you know,
I think a
sometimes
lot of managers
money.
figure that out. They go, oh, this producer just expects, he's like, oh, get me placements, make me money. Well, it's like, bro, you got to put the work in too. So
how much of it is a two-way street, right? Where you're like, Sean's working his plays as your manager and like you guys are working your plays, right? Because I think that's the underrated part of this too, is that producers especially, and artists too for that matter, expect that like, oh, the manager's going to come in and save the fucking day.
They're
going to make all the plays. Talk to us about kind of like that dual approach, right? From the client and the manager perspective.
Yeah, you go.
It's got to be 50-50. I mean, it could be a little balanced. It all depends. We're building relationships, right, with the artists. So it's our job to keep in contact with them. And, you know, Sean will track down new talent or keep in contact with A&Rs, managers, even some artists. It's everybody putting their part in to keep the relationships going and finding new artists to work with. You know, that's where the consistency of bringing in income comes from, you know?
For sure.
So
you guys are like I mean, even articles that were written about you or like written interviews, the whole like mystique and like mystery behind
Who is Bankroll Got It?
Who is Bankroll Got It? What do they even fucking look like?
And this is I think confirmed before we got on camera the first interview for real.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
For Bankroll.
facts.
Let's
Yeah.
time for that.
So, you know, what went into the thought process around, like, I mean, even scrolling your Instagram page, it's damn near just at this point, like, still a resume of, like, don't get me wrong,
Fire
hits,
resume.
fucking hits on hits, right?
Appreciate
but like,
that.
what, you know, was there a intention behind remaining almost faceless to some degree up to this point, or like, what was that about?
Yeah, we actually, way back in the day, probably like 3 years, we used to like do sessions with artists, then we'd take pictures with them, and we looked even more corny than we look now. You know what I mean?
Still not there.
and we didn't have the placements to help leverage like getting in with new artists and whatever. So an artist actually gave us the advice to, hey, bro, maybe don't show what you look like, make the music speak for it, and then maybe that'll help do business for you. So
Did you feel some
wow.
type of way when they suggested that?
I'd be a little offended.
I'd be like,
slightly.
damn.
I get it.
How
You know?
ugly am I?
At first, you know, you think about it, but he was right. Like,
He was
when I
right,
was
yeah.
looking at our Instagram and just like us, you know, people pose when they work with someone and they're like, oh, first session, you're like hugging them and like
Yeah.
taking pictures.
Yeah.
It's corny. Like, and he was like, y'all music's so hard. I think at that time, we just had a couple placements come out that in the beats, you know, doesn't really match up with those pictures, you know? So he was like, yo, just similar to how Murda did it. It's like, let the beat speak for himself and then they can figure it out later. And ever since we did that, it just started working. Yeah.
Yeah, and we thought from the artist perspective, you know, if we hit up an artist like, hey, let us pull up to your session or whatever, and they like go to our Instagram, is this going to help or is this going to hurt? You know, and at the time it was like not helping. Like, we're in our 30s, we're these white guys. They're like, who the fuck are these guys? You know, so we're just like, you know what? Let's just let the music speak for itself and go from there.
Damn, I mean, I love almost like the self-awareness. I mean, because that takes a little bit of like maturity / like self-awareness to, because a lot of people would just be on some ego shit of like, nah, I'm getting my pictures off, bro. Like
Yeah.
I'm posting who the fuck
Yeah.
I'm with, and you know, maybe not being able to look into the future and be like, is this the right approach? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know what the people say, you got to love yourself. You got to understand who you are. Once you figure that out, life is a lot easier. You know what I mean? A lot of people, I don't think, really understand what people think about them or know about them or the way they speak or carry themselves. And it goes a long way just to embrace who you are and then use that to your advantage. That's your brand, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, look at us. We're four goofballs over here, but we're figuring something out, right?
One day at a time, my guy.
Four white guys that know nothing about hip hop.
Oh yeah, that's what TikTok says sometimes.
It is.
So talk to us about like the relationship dynamic growing up, right? Because obviously you guys are super close now. You're in business together. You're creating art together, and that's awesome. Like shout out to you guys for being able to do that. That's special. What was the dynamic like? As kids, kind of growing up.
Yeah, I mean, so we're 2 years apart, so we were always doing most everything together, like always competing in sports and stuff at the house or whatever it was. But really, like, Joel was always the one that was figuring out ways to make beats on these little programs growing up and stuff. So then, like, that's what my older brother's doing, so that's what I'm doing, So
You were the first one to crack FL.
Bro,
pretty much,
we
yeah.
dating way back. Like, I'm
probably
talking
had
like
FL
Super
3
Nintendo
years.
Mario Paint going crazy. You know what I'm talking about?
This guy was recording on
Like
Audacity.
the fucking
Yeah.
the mushroom was like the bass drum, and like the turtle shell was the snare or something. I don't even remember. But like, I'm talking when we were like 9 years old, 8 years old.
Damn.
Yeah.
But technology wasn't there the way it is now. These kids are so smart and they're just
Yeah.
using whatever BandLab or whatever.
They're doing like
recording
speed
songs.
runs in
Yeah.
FL. Like,
How did you even know what producing was? Like a lot of people don't even know what production is. I mean, maybe at this point because it's so widespread, but like when you were getting started at age 9, for example,
clearly came up on hip hop.
did you have like a frame of reference from someone, or like how did
That's
you?
really you.
Yeah, I would say at that time we were just kids. So for whatever reason, we were just stuck on watching MTV Jams. I mean, BET, TRL at the time or whatever.
For sure.
But infatuated by just hip hop and R&B. Like, I just never gravitated to rock for whatever reason. It just didn't. I used to remember thinking, man, this guitar shit sounds like noise to me. Like, I don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, I just really did. I pretended I did to fit in.
Yeah.
But it always was into rap, so I always wanted to make rap beats. And then later on, I'd say, I guess the Neptunes are probably the first one from just my awareness of what a producer is really came from them. I think like they were the ones that really started. I guess they defined the super producer, term,
sure.
right? I know Dre and Scott Schwartz, all them were already doing it, but Neptunes were the first ones I think that really put the shine on the producers, at least from me growing up.
Yeah.
Shout out the Pharrell 4-count intro, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like
I don't know if that's because we did a producer tag draft and people were pissed that we didn't count that, but I don't know if that's really a tag because it's not explicitly. It's
kind of a tag.
It's kind of a tag.
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then we dropped the fucking ball.
we definitely did. Sometimes the way that you guys lead into songs with your tag, the bankroll, and like the way your drums are knocking, it kind of is reminiscent for me of that 4-count Pharrell shit. So is that sometimes like, how the influence is there?
Yeah, I mean, from the way beginning, before we had a single placement, we always knew that we wanted to brand ourselves in a dope way that sounded good, that made people want to, like, when they see us, they want to say the tag. And like, so before we even had a placement, we made that tag. So like every song you'll ever hear, unless the artist takes it off, you'll hear the tag. So it was just important to our brand from day one. So we thought about it and we made sure it was good,
Yeah, and it is fire. That's why I drafted it in our 6 million view producer tag draft TikTok.
Shout out
Appreciate
to
that.
that.
Yeah, shout out.
Man.
So
Had to.
y'all are definitely known for almost, at least originally, I think maybe it's evolved, slightly, but like you're known for your hard hitting 808s, right? And almost like less musical sounds and more just raw drums and 808s, right? Is the 808 the most important part of a hip hop beat?
For me, yes. And I'll tell you why. So when you're making a beat and when it first hits, right? Whatever that sounds like is usually when people, make that face or whatever. It's
Stank face.
The sonics of what they've never heard before or a certain 808 that hits. So you could have the best masterpiece beat, but everybody always gravitates to the bass of just how it hits. So in my opinion, it is the most important. Like, so that's why I'm always been, when we make beats or whoever we collaborate, I always push to just not sometimes use some of the more generic sounding 808s. Because
Zay 808, spins 808.
Well, I mean, we use the Zay, but we put our own effects on it and stuff or whatever. Even spins if you put the right effects. But a lot of times you use, generic ones everybody uses. It just instantly the listener thinks, oh, I've heard this before. This sounds more like a, not like a YouTube beat, but it could be, more generic sounding. Where if you hit them with something they haven't heard before, instantly, they're going to think that that's just the hardest shit they heard.
Do you use like saturation, distortion? How do you achieving that kind of unique?
Bro, they can't give you the sauce, bro.
Come on, bro. I'm just trying to sneak it.
It's not even we don't do that complicated stuff. A lot of it is just going through a million 808s.
It's just finding the right
Really
one.
picking the right sound.
I'll be driving
Sound
people
selection.
crazy when we make beats. I will probably go through 100 808s and keep switching them over and over and over again. Even Taylor probably gone through that.
So
I don't know.
I'm for the only person that's not a producer here.
That's me.
The most important thing in production is sound selection. You can try and make a sound however you want it by adding a million plugins, but if you start with that sound that sounds like the one, you're winning every time. It's so important.
It sounds like specifically the 808 selection is actually what matters.
I mean, really, any of the
Any
drums
sound,
too.
you
You
know?
could take a snare, you could try and stack 3 snares on top of each other, but there's probably a snare that's better. You know what I mean?
Oh, every time. Snares piss me off more than, and I don't even
Us too.
talk about
Snares are the
I
worst.
fucking
Yeah.
hate snares, dude.
Yeah.
No snare. I always just end up with the generic like Zay clap, just that same like or the Lex, because that never sounds bad, but
Yeah, you can't
do
go wrong
too,
with
yeah,
that.
so-
Yeah.
just end up with it.
People are
you
in the
know?
comments. Y'all use the same fucking drums. What are you talking about?
They fucking hate bitch.
So-
Fuck you guys.
So being from the Bay, I know you guys were influenced by, other regions, but like, do you have a Mount Rushmore of Bay Area rap?
Oh yeah.
Who's on there?
E40. Mac Dre.
Definitely E40,
Definitely
Mac
E40,
Dre, Nicotina.
We grew up during the
Jay
hyphy movement,
Diggs.
right? So
There's a couple hyphy motherfuckers.
we were
right there.
actually this will date us, but we were like in college, or at least going into college during hyphy. So you got like
So you guys are like 45, 47.
50.
50.
55.
And no, in LA, you're 28 forever. So we're just
We trying to
28.
get Forbes 60 under 60 this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn,
But even shout out like the team, Federation, those kind of acts like who else? Hood Stars, right? Like
We did
there
a
was-
Bay Area draft, and we should probably not have done that. But
I mean, we should have at least checked in with them.
yeah, like, probably so. But they're in LA now.
Yeah,
So,
but still.
Like the
maybe
first
even
artist
skewed.
we actually ever worked with, like Love Rants, so
He did Beat the Pussy Up, you know.
okay.
so yeah,
Let's
we
get a, so Ben took G-Easy in the 5th round. How do we feel about that?
It was partly
That's
for the
cool,
memes,
yeah.
but like,
Yeah,
shout
you
out
gotta
to
respect
Gerald,
it.
man.
You gotta respect
he did it for the
G-Eazy.
band. Like, you
Yeah.
can't hate on that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a fucking global, superstar at this point.
the bitches love Gerald. I'll say that.
So,
Yeah.
but a lot of people would almost mistake the fact that, like, thinking that you guys are from here almost, right? Like, your sound has this almost iconic Southern trap hip hop sound.
You guys
right?
sound like Atlanta.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
How influential was Atlanta, as you were developing your own unique production sound?
Yeah, when we first started producing, like, California music wasn't something that we were listening to all the time, and so we gravitated towards Texas music and Atlanta music, and we would watch 10K Cash videos of like these real open beats with these like heavy drums. So we started doing music like that, and like we started working with Asian Doll, and like one of our first biggest songs ever was Real Hood Babies with Lil Got It. So like just real open drums and like Atlanta sound, so but then now we're kind of coming back to the West Coast, like after a few years of kind of doing that sound. So now we're kind of
y'all are welcome for the come up.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, we love Atlanta, man. For sure.
So was it the Got It record that kind of like phone starts ringing or like DMs start coming in? Like, is that what kind of set things off?
Yeah, that record was like one of them records that it was big out here. It wasn't, I mean, I wouldn't say it was big like nationally, radio wise, but like culturally, just we could DM. I remember it hit me when we DM like Sway Lee, and he responded back saying, "I fuck with that record." Like, that's the kind of shit that was, whoa, this record's bigger than we thought it was. You know what I mean? And then we go out here to the clubs, strip clubs, whatever, they'd be playing it. Like everywhere. We'd hear it all the time. So it was just like, all right, we got something with this.
Which clubs did you have here? You hit Magic City?
I was about to
Magic City,
ask.
Sean was like, we got to go hear the song, and I was like, yeah, we do.
Where else? Onyx, or like where are we going?
It was on the Magic City playlist, so we knew we just had to hit that.
Magic City. If your shit's playing in Magic City, you're valid in Atlanta.
That's one of those things you got to run and tell mom for sure that like it's on the Magic City playlist.
That night we
I mean,
had
how
the
does
babies
that feel?
and Bitch from the South at the same time. So
Bitch from the South,
twice,
bro. That's the one I would have guessed.
Yeah.
That was really like that was up out of here.
That was our mainstream record.
Yeah,
for
Hood
sure.
Babies happened first though. Like they both came out around the same time, but Hood Babies blew up quicker. Like Bitch from the South was one of those records that just had legs for years and years, and it really like hit its peak probably like 2 years after it even came out. But
That's because Lotto's going fucking crazy
Lotto's
right
going
now.
crazy.
Shout out to Lotto.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to her.
Yeah, but yeah, Hood Babies was one where like we'd meet someone in person and we'd be like, yeah, we made this record. They'd be like, whoa, stop. Y'all made that record? Like, all right, let's work, So that was big for us.
Is that amazing to just like overcome all stereotypical odds when you're like, fuck yeah, I made that record. Like, I don't know. I would
It's
just
a
find
dope
so
feeling,
much
yeah.
joy in that.
It's definitely a dope feeling.
Yeah, because even doing what we do, getting to talk to a lot of people that are in rap, like it's still even from like a media and journalist, like whatever we are, podcaster perspective, it's still like, yep, this is who talks to rappers and producers and whatever. So like I don't know, I definitely find like joy in overcoming that like what we should look like, you know what I mean, type of discussion.
Yeah, and I mean, we're really trying to do like big culture records if we can. We don't necessarily want to do just like some mainstream sounding thing that comes and goes. Like the fact that those two records are like kind of legendary records in Atlanta is like big for us too. These like songs will never go away. You know what I mean?
We try our best. When you're making hip hop music, you got to really go there, understand, what the city feels like, understand where the music comes from, so we take pride in at least, we just, to be accepted in rap and all the artists that work with us is great, but for us to also learn from them and talk to, the artists coming, we're talking to their friends, who are your favorite artists, we're just trying to learn what everybody's doing, and that helps you make beats when you really get why it sounds a certain way. I think a lot of producers probably, they hear it on, Spotify, whatever, and they just recreate it, but they don't even know why they're recreating what it sounds like. You know what I mean? Like, what does a Memphis type beat mean to them? It's, they're just copying. They're not really understanding why Memphis sounds like that.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I mean, I think that it's obvious that you guys are kind of tapping in with artists that aren't necessarily, you know, mainstream radio types of artists right now, right? So I do want to give you guys a chance to speak on, you know, the most recent collaborative project between you and Rucci, right? Who's straight out of Inglewood.
Yeah.
And to be honest,
Rucci.
I'm looking at you guys, right? And I'm like, you know, you guys couldn't look more opposite, right? Like, and just you know, it kind of plays into what you're talking about of like, you know, you want to understand where he's coming from, right? Because he's got such a unique story. I mean, like, you know, openly speaks about his family heritage and, you know, the gangs of Inglewood and like just the struggle that he's had as a, you know, person and, you know, the things he's seen and dealt with and just like his upbringing is probably like drastically different than maybe what you guys, you know, where you guys came from, right? So what's that like, you know, I guess, you know, coming together like with someone like a Rucci and creating with them, even though you're from just vastly different worlds originally, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about a producer is that we're just really like laying the landscape for him to tell his story, you know, and us coming from California, like even though we did Atlanta beats and Texas beats and stuff, really California beats sometimes are like more natural for us. So like it's something we've been listening to our whole life. So it's just something that we really know it from living it, you know, versus some of these other places. Maybe we spend time here, we learn a little more as much as we can, you know what I mean? But really like even LA sound, Bay Area sound is like really like home for us, you know what I mean? So it makes it easier.
And that's his sound.
Well, I mean, he has his sound, and he has great projects already that he's accomplishing.
And you obviously, you know his discography going into it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be exactly like that, but
for us, you know, we started with doing the records like Scoring by Kalen, and we just want to make our impact on the West Coast now. Like, we grew up loving West Coast music, you know, from shit old enough through Snoop and Dre, through the second Dre wave, you know, all the way through Nipsey, everything. So we've seen the whole, you know, progression of West Coast music. So we have a lot of different places we could take the music from all those different influences. So we wanted to just make a classic album with Rucci that sounds West Coast, but a new version of what we would think a classic West Coast album would sound like, right? So
it's something for his fans would like, but also we're trying to make something bigger than West Coast as well, you know, so you got to appeal to both at the same time, you know. So what is the goal?
Yeah. So what did the making of the project, you know, look like, right? Like, were you guys locked in for, you know, weeks at a time every night? You know what I mean? Like, talk to us about kind of the actual making of the project.
Sure. So, well, the first day, we had done a record with him previously, with Kalen on it. But so we knew his music, but we never really worked in person. That was over
Kalen. Email or whatever. Yeah.
So the first night, we didn't really know what to expect because you never know how someone's recording process is, or just, you know, some people sit down and write the whole time and then go cut one song. Some people punch in line by line.
Jesus, sorry, that was my elbow.
It's all good.
And the crazy sound effect.
But Rucci went in like that, just went crazy. Like, first night, went crazy, just like 5 songs front to back, just
off top.
He didn't write nothing.
He's
just
like
going
punching in,
and he has
punching
bars.
in,
Every time I listen to the project and I catch something else that I didn't catch before, like, his bars are crazy. Like, and he just sounds good on, you know, all sorts of different type of beats, and he's creative. He'll jump on anything. He's, you know, one of them rappers which we love working with that will say, "Give me anything, I'll jump on it." You know what I mean? Because
love that.
It's tough when you work with a certain artist that only gravitates to the same beats. It's like, what am I even bringing to the table here? You got your producers. You know what I mean? Like, so for us working with him, we saw like, whoa, this guy's different. Like, we could really build something crazy, and we could test different sonics and sounds and see.
Producers are always trying to match an artist's vibe. When an artist tries to match a producer's vibe, that's some of the most beautiful shit. Like, you find that artist that's willing to be like, oh, I see what you were going for here, and I'm gonna match it. I feel like that's way more rare than the other way around, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he told us from the beginning, like, so he came and he was like, "Play me anything," you know. So
I love that.
That's a dope thing to hear.
Love
so
that already.
he let us push the boundaries from the beginning, and those 5, or I might even be 6 or 7 songs he cut that first night. At least 4 or 5 of them made the project. So we were so blown away. So we loved the record. So he didn't even come in on that first session saying like, "Hey, let's do a project together." It was after he
like,
blew
wait,
us away.
we just cut an EP in one night.
That's
Let's
what we were saying.
Basically, we're like, yo, we only need a few more at this point, you know.
Yeah.
So that's really what sealed the deal on that. So
Fire.
Yeah. So so he was at a good like point in his career where he's been doing a lot. He's been coming up, but like he wanted, you know, to try some new stuff. He wants to blow up his sound, and like he wanted some bigger records. And at the same time, we're trying to work with someone that is willing to, you know, explore some different sounds and try something new. And so it was just, we're both at this kind of the same point in our career. So it was really perfect timing for both of us.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he was mentioning in some, you know, either interview or maybe the like, you know, mini doc I mentioned, you know, the Taco Sun mini documentary about exactly what you're, you know, referencing of how diverse his taste in music is.
Yeah.
He had talked about how he listened to all sorts of shit, not just, you know, LA or, you know, Inglewood rap, right? Even though that's what he was, of course, surrounded by growing up. But he took from rock shit even, and I can't remember what all he was saying he was listening to, but it was just way eclectic. So I think that's neat that he was so open to creating something like still in his pocket, but like pushing the boundaries to maybe like, I don't know. Do you feel like California rappers, whether it's Bay Area or, you know, down in LA, like, do you think that they can almost, you know, get boxed into just being West Coast rappers at all? Like, is that like a challenge for the, and same thing even like here in Atlanta,
that applies
I guess, right?
everywhere.
I think
is what I'm saying.
every city has their sound.
Right.
So I think you have to pay attention to what the city's doing, but at the same time, I think every rap fan would agree that it would be great to hear their favorite artists on other types of beats, even if it's paying homage to that sound and just kind of twisting a little bit, you know what I mean? So
it could be the same BPM. It could be in that lane, but just slightly different, something new that the ear hasn't heard or something, you know, like,
Yeah.
What
I've always said the best music is slightly, it's got to be like 50%, maybe not exactly 50-50, but it's got to be like somewhat recognizable
Of course,
and comfortable,
yeah.
and then somewhat new. You can't go too new,
Right,
Because you throw people off and it's weird, but you can't go too cookie cutter in the box. It's boring. No one cares. You need a little bit of both.
That's a good
I
point.
think, right?
I agree with that. Yeah.
So
100%.
So this is a collab project where it's dropping under Bankroll Got It on streaming platforms, right? As well as Rucci.
Yeah.
So,
Correct.
you know, if you're able to share at least like once again at a high level, you don't need to, you know, I'm not trying to pocket watch here, but I am, you know, eager to help people out there that are producers that are trying to do something similar, right? Where they do collab projects. How's the business structured? Meaning like, you know, there's music videos and stuff involved. So like, are y'all, you know what I mean? Like if you can share anything about like how it actually works out that way versus it could have just been a Rucci project that was executive produced and mainly all beats by Bankroll Got It, right? So when it's both of you guys on streaming, is it structured differently? Like, can you maybe like share some of the behind the scenes of like how that works at all?
You gonna take this one?
I mean, just to start, I mean, yeah, you go. I'll go.
I think this first one. So we're trying to build our brand too. So I feel like even to gear towards eventually doing a Bankroll Got It project ourselves, right? You know, you really need to build the brand before you can just start dropping tapes, because you know, unknown producer times an artist doesn't mean shit if the artist and producer, you know, don't have any relevancy. So we're right now, I think, you know, Empire's distributing it. So it's really like, it is like a project that we produce for him, but they're giving us name recognition to be on our Spotify to build our fans. We've done that similarly. We have a record with JP the Wavy in Japan. We did the same thing. That was technically our first EP as Bankroll Got It, but this is our first American one that, you know, for LA, especially California, really trying to do. So we're going to build up the name, build up the recognition, similar to how Metro did it and Hit Boy's doing it right now, and really prove to the industry that we can take your artist or prove to artists that we could take, you know, a project with you and give you a landscape to tell your story and create a masterpiece.
So are you taking on a lot of those costs then? Like music videos, like marketing?
This one's through Empire. So
It's all through Empire. So there's still a label that is invested in the project. They need to recoup their money and everything. So they're handling all that. But Bankroll Got It, in the past, we've always just tried to make singles, you know, so we're doing one song at a time with these artists. So we've never really proven ourselves that we can do a project front to back. And that's a whole different mindset for a label, you know, so we're not proven in that regard. So we're hoping this is the first step to proving that to people. And then we want to keep going with doing more Bankroll Got It projects with all sorts of different artists. But so for us, this is that first step.
Yeah.
And on the subject of like proving yourself and building the brand, I'd love for you guys to discuss your kind of methods of how you even produce songs. I spent a month in LA last year in September, came out to the Bankroll studio. It was awesome. And you kind of gave me a rundown of how you guys even just go about, producing for these artists. And I think it could be very helpful maybe for some people watching, just the whole, how you're doing it, like you got this fire studio, just the whole, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I got to stop hitting that button with my elbow.
Which button is that?
It's going to come into play later.
And
It's like the worst level of foreshadowing I've ever seen.
The one
honestly.
closest to his elbow is that one.
It's terrible.
It's the one
placement.
that y'all aren't supposed to hear till later, but I've hit it
And
twice
now, and now we're just on a fucking roll with
it's
it.
the Hennessy, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
On that note,
I don't know that's going to help our cause,
I can't
but
reach
like maybe we're going to hit it a few more times at this point.
but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the strategy of how you've come to
Okay,
where you
yeah,
are, which
yeah.
I think could be super helpful for some of our listeners.
So yeah, we have a studio in LA that it's the Bankroll Got It studio. We have the neon sign. We kind of designed it like a Miami nightclub vibe.
Yes.
Especially early on during the COVID times. Obviously, we were safe in there, but it was a good vibe for artists to come in and create when a lot of things were going chaotic all over the rest of the country, right? So
Yeah, that was a nice disclaimer. Did you hear that? It's like,
You know,
we were safe.
you
and
gotta be
all,
careful,
with all these rappers and
The booth was
ladies.
6 feet
Yeah.
away.
We had like a bottle of hand sanitizer like over
of
there.
course, the Hennessy usually cleared the rest of it out.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
pretty
alcohol.
much that
It's
and the
like-
weed smoke. You know what I mean?
But that was a
Cures COVID.
exactly.
That's what I heard.
But so artists come. We basically our business model is really reaching out to artists, bringing them in. The expenses on us. We have our own in-house engineer and producer that's really dope. Shout out ZZ. So he's there every day.
Shout out.
And we basically run sessions like any other session. We go to Paramount or whatever. It's just they come to us. They know that they got to work for us, and it's free for them. The risk is on us. What I
Right.
mean? If we don't make a good song, then it's our cost, not theirs. So a lot of A&Rs and managers like that. They're like, oh shit, I can't book a studio tonight. Let's go work with Bankroll. So that's our advantage that we're trying to get over. Other producers, maybe they don't have a studio. It's like, well, y'all can come here for free as long as you use our beats,
Yeah, and that's I feel like that's such a great business model because great environment, comfortable, dope looking, hard beats. I can go and make some hard music. If I'm a poppin' artist, I'm definitely considering that, right?
Yeah, so this kind of goes hand in hand to when we didn't show what we look like. So we kind of did that from day one. So it's like, if you're not the homie with the artist at the house playing 2K with them, hanging out and making beats that way, if you're trying to lock in with them and they don't know you, you got to make it really easy on them. So when you hit them up like, hey, let me pull up on your session at Paramount that you're paying for and then let me come and play beats. It's like, that's a lot to ask. You asking for a favor at that point.
Facts.
And they don't even know you, so they're just not going to respond. So we've always taken the approach of like, do the opposite, make it really easy on
let me
them.
give you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, exactly. So like
Pretty much, yeah.
So when we were coming up, we had full-time jobs and we would fly to LA. We'd book a studio for the whole long weekend or something. And then we'd make it really easy. Just, we have it all paid for. We're paying for the engineer. Just stop by, listen to the beats. If you don't like it, it's all good. You're done. If you do, let's record or whatever. And then that business model stays today where it's just like we have our own studio. We built it out. We spent money on it, made it feel real comfortable. We always have Hennessy there. We always have tequila there.
Candy. Yeah.
We have whatever they want. If they need a runner, we'll go get them whatever they need.
Fiji water.
Fiji water, yeah, whatever.
Shit, just you feel like
Oh, they
this
got
is
they got Fiji water.
Fiji water is just
yeah.
out.
Oh shit,
You know,
bro.
we're in LA, real alkaline, bro.
Bro, they made it, bro.
If this
Yeah.
was their coffee table, there'd be about 5 Fiji waters on it.
Yeah.
Some
Damn.
candy. Yeah. Telling you, bro.
Yeah, we just got tap.
I'm telling
We
you,
just
bro.
got tap water over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I went and
and you're doing an
Bankroll
interview with
Studios.
us. You could be
Yeah.
bigger. It could be bigger
Shit.
with Fiji water.
All right, we're getting to Fiji tomorrow.
Yeah. So
No, but for me, I feel like it's everyone. No offense, like everyone and their mother has a studio now set up at their house, right? I mean, like every producer has some way to probably like have sessions at their their spot. At least
what is a studio?
I'm getting there, Henry.
I'm
I'm
just
saying
saying.
what you guys did that is, I think, it took a lot of risk, clearly.
Yeah.
But the investment and the design aesthetic that you like, went after and then what resulted in the Bankroll Got It studio, that's the fucking money right there, bro. Like that's the sauce, because everyone can, invite someone to pull up on them and record. But to your point, if you don't have that relationship where it's like, oh, like, yeah, this is my, little humble abode where we're just going to be playing video games, smoking up and like, recording a little bit. If you don't have that type of relationship with the artist, it's a lot different. Like they would prefer something that's a little bit more, curated, I guess, right? And like purpose built, you know what I mean?
So the producer with the bedroom studio, if they don't know the artist gonna maybe come, they're gonna spend one day, they're gonna get their 2-3 records, and they're probably not gonna come back. When they come to our studio, the building does have to work for us. It's a vibe. Everyone's having a good time. We're drinking Hennessy with them. We're all like chopping it up, having a great time. They're going to come back the next day, the next day, the next day. We're going to get 10, 15 records, and then we might get 3 on the project or something, So I mean, like the building does have to work for us.
And it's like a marketing plan, right? So what started happening, the first time we tried it, our old studio, we had a 1-room studio. We had a Hennessy backwoods vending machine, right? And it
already
worked.
That's so fire.
Right?
Just
and the artist would sign it. And it was a cool gimmick. And we barely had a name at the time. I think we had Hood Babies just come out, but that was it. We just moved to LA. That was at the time we're like, oh shit, this is working. We're actually now making money instead of just being in debt for the rest of our lives off this shit, So
because that is the gamble.
And don't get me wrong,
by building the studio and everything, that is the gamble.
We maxed our credit cards out, just hustling. I mean, the full-time job does not pay for the amount of travel and stuff we were doing, but we didn't care. I mean, I didn't really see an end in sight with that. You know what I mean? That's probably, you'd be more careful. But
this is not financial advice, producers at all.
But
it works for some people.
So the marketing of it. So we tried to get people to think the vending machine would get more people there, and it kind of
the vending machine was more of like a branding thing. People are going to want to post about it. Oh, let me get this glass Hennessy bottle. Let me put a few dollars in, see if it breaks. They're going to post it on their IG. So now people are seeing our name or whatever.
Yeah.
It was a little bit
of
a marketing
thing. I remember
yeah.
seeing that and being like, that's amazing. I want to fly to LA just to get a bottle of Hennessy out of their vending machine.
Yeah.
So if I'm hearing this correctly, like it sounds like the secret to success and hit records. I mean, it sounds like it's Hennessy.
Hennessy in a vending machine.
No, just Hennessy, really.
Hennessy, period.
Just Hennessy.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We're on Hennessy, but everybody else is on tequila. You know what I mean?
The Casamigos is the new thing.
It's been a big shift.
It's shifted from Hennessy to Casamigos, but fuck that, because me and Hennessy have the same nickname. It's all about the hen dog, baby. Hen dog.
Cheers to
that. Makes me
Yes, sir.
That makes me not want to drink this anymore.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
It kind of ruins it.
Don't do me like that.
It really
Joel.
does. So, you talked about setting that vibe of like the Miami nightclub or whatever. Like it's got this, the neon signs. It's got the like.
Oh yeah. Let me. You remind me what I was talking about.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hennessy vending machine was cool, but it didn't really work all the way. I mean, we were getting a bigger name as we went on, and actually, shout out to Bad Baby. I could say this because she wouldn't care. We would try to get the artist to post a vending machine and tag us so we would get more, but she looked at us and I remember her going, this would be like $20,000 for me to do this. You fucking crazy, $20,000? I mean, you know what I mean? Like that's like a sponsorship, right? So it's like, all right, you're right.
Cash me outside.
She knows her worth,
Yeah, she knows her worth.
She did make $1 million on OnlyFans
and
in one day.
Artists would never really post it, right? So we the next studio, it was more, our signs are everywhere. People sometimes laugh about that. We have a sign in every room, but like the ceiling, which we weren't even really thinking about, the studio designer just made this ceiling with the pink lights that we can change or whatever.
Shout out to London.
London built it. People would, in the background, they would see the sign or our Bankroll sign, but then really the ceiling. And then other artists would be like, where is this at? And they started to notice that other artists would be in the same place.
The ceiling.
And it kind of came like a... What do they call that? What's that? FOMO or something?
Fear of
I want to
missing
be there. Yeah, I want to be there too. What the fuck are they doing over there? You know what I mean? And then people would be excited to come to the next spot that was a lot bigger, and everything. But it's like that's like kind of marketing for us. It's like if you don't, you don't have the big name, the Murder Beats, the Jetson, or whatever at the time. Like you got to figure it out. Like you got to get someone to want to come to your studio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's actually funny. So we're doing this project with Rucci. One of the first thing he said is, I used to see that ceiling, the sign on IG all the time, and I manifested like one day I'm gonna be there, I'm gonna be working with y'all, and we're gonna do some shit. And
which that's dope for
he
us,
said
man,
that,
for
so I was
artists to
like,
say that,
fire, I appreciate that. Yeah. But I do want to say also, our studio right now, It's very nice. We invested more money into this one, but I'm not saying that every producer coming up got to spend that type of money. Like you can have one room, but it is important to create that aesthetic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
and
the
you don't
mindset-
need the money, that much money to do that.
It's
you know?
just making
the little
it
things.
as
the little
comfortable as
things, yeah.
possible for the artist. You just want the artist to come back.
Yeah, get a
whatever
few
that
fake
takes.
plants, get
Yeah,
like some lights.
roll a backwood up.
Yeah.
Shit,
or
have
like-
some waters, man.
Have
Yeah,
some
yeah,
water.
studios, these
Waters.
yeah.
Do you either one of you guys want a water, by the way?
You know, we're good. Yeah, we're sipping,
They
yeah.
brought their own because
It's
they're
to
like,
the
I don't know if these
point.
motherfuckers can afford
We
water.
bring our own shit.
we got Deer Park and they brought Smart Water. So yeah, we do have water though. If
Yeah,
they
but
wanted
we usually
it.
bring our own shit wherever we go. We know these
'Cause we know
these
no one
studios
has
ain't
shit,
giving us
yeah.
shit, you know. But
They did indeed roll up with a box from a liquor store
Yeah.
with a bottle of Henny, some
Perrier.
Perrier, and some
Pour some
fucking
of that.
smart waters.
But we had water available for them.
We definitely did.
in
but,
case you're watching Drake and you want to come on the podcast.
but yeah, so just to kind of summarize, like the vibe is everything. If I'm hearing it right, like,
Vibe,
yeah.
vibe curators is like
Yeah.
part of y'all's resume. I would say big time.
Yeah, and on top of the vibe, another piece of advice we got in the studio was at one point, we've never been good engineers, so shout out to, someone like you, you're a great engineer, you know.
Thank you.
he's all right.
So we were thinking about like, it costs a lot of money to pay hourly for an engineer, so
Yeah.
we were thinking, oh, maybe we should learn how to get better at that. And then another piece of advice we got, which we've held on to, was, you know what? Maybe sometimes it's better not to be the engineer when you, the producer, you trying to build a relationship with the artist and the managers
Yes.
and the teams and the homies and stuff like that. And sometimes also if the engineer fucking up, and like if we're fucking up, now the artist is
reflects
yelling
on
at
you.
you,
Yeah.
now they're like upset with you versus, if there's just an engineer there, it does reflect badly on you if you have a bad engineer or whatever. So you got to have a good engineer, but at the same time, we're spending time bonding. Facts. We're spending time bonding.
that's how
with
the artists
artist.
yell at you if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I'm gonna do that to Henry right now.
I'm a better engineer than I am a podcast board guy.
Yet he needs it within arm's reach. Continue. Sorry.
yeah. So we made the choice. We don't engineer for the artist. We always, we do pay someone hourly. So we have an engineer, but that was another piece of advice, something to think about, as a producer when you're trying to build those relationships. If you're on the board and you're fucking up, maybe they're gonna walk away with
Or
the worst taste in your mouth.
what is-
Bro, transferring the risk.
Yeah. Right.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, bro.
The producers coming in.
Henry should take that advice and get someone else on the board. You
You
know
know,
what I mean?
Listen. They wouldn't
He's a
do
good
us-
engineer though, so maybe it's gonna work
Thank
better
you.
for
I
him.
mean-
We were unskilled, so we
Some
had to learn,
producers
yeah.
are known for the engineering and it makes sense and they're good at Melodyne and they're going crazy. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it makes sense, but a lot of times the artist's going to judge you off of your image when they come to the studio. And if you're the one also recording and everything, they're kind of like, okay, I thought these guys were like different, you know what I mean? Or something.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, his beats must not be as good because he can't record and pitch vocals as well.
No,
which
for
is
me-
bullshit.
no-
but
No, for me, what I think you said is actually the most important out of all the examples of why this might make sense is that you don't want to be having to focus on the engineering side
Exactly.
of it. You
Right.
need to be focusing on the producing of the record.
Yeah.
So
Right,
fuck the if you're good enough or not good enough because to your point, Henry's a fire engineer. Even
But
though
that's
he keeps
where
hitting
but-
his fucking elbow on the damn
but
thing.
that's exactly where I pigeonholed myself as a producer because I'm always engineering the records.
no, but I'm
that I
saying
produce.
stop. Yeah, I'm saying don't do it. I'm
I
agreeing
can't
with
pay, I make my money from engineering, so I can't afford to pay an engineer.
I'm just saying though that y'all took the risk of
Yeah.
it is something to think. He's just
And I'm
saying it's something
jealous.
to think
And
about.
I think that's worked out for sure.
Yeah.
Because that's awesome. Because if I would love to be the Rick Rubin character, just laying on the couch, looking like I'm half asleep, just listening to the record.
Well, here's the thing: you
and
got
just manifesting
You got
what
their
you
managers in there. You got their A&Rs in there. You got their friends in there. You got to be bonding with all of them. We're not partying, but we're hanging out with them.
Yes.
Also at the same time, we're cooking up the next beat, fixing a beat.
Yes.
There's a lot that goes into the record. You still are paying attention to what's going on. Don't get me wrong, but it's like
You can't do that when you're hitting record, undo, move,
and
track, stack, ad lib.
And all it takes is for him, the artist or her, to think, "Oh, this guy's slow" or whatever, And it may be not even you doing a bad job. They just might be in a type of mood, but they're going to remember that session and they're going to never come back again.
Yes.
Damn, that's a fucking once again. If you can, and maybe it's something where y'all are obviously paying, but get creative with the way you structure these deals, because y'all could have probably been like, if you couldn't afford the engineer,
5% of the record.
Exactly.
Publish
Like
it.
We've done that as well.
Yeah.
We actually leave it up to the engineer. We let whatever they want to do. Some engineers are trying to be producers, so if they want to build credits, we give that option to them. You get paid when we get paid.
Yeah.
You know, you get 5-10%, whatever it is. You know, or if you don't want to take that risk and you want that bread right now, you know, we'll cash app you right now, then you could take that approach and you won't get the credit. So it's really
It's
whatever
a pretty
they want
fair
to do.
deal, I think.
It is.
We're looking out for both sides. A lot of engineers complain they want more credits, you know, because they actually are doing a lot of work on the record.
Engineers are big
First of all,
contributors
let's
to the
talk about
record.
the fact that engineers don't get back end by default. That's insane to me. They have a huge effect on how the record sounds at the end of the day. So how do they? But they do get that front end.
The difference is everybody's taking the risk except for you guys. So that's the point where the producer will look at it like, well, you're getting paid. We don't know if this record's coming out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And we might not even get our advance from that record for months down the road too. So, but that's why we offer it. We go, look, do you want to take the risk with us on this, you know, artist, or do you want to get paid? And we respect both options. You know?
Damn.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So how do you find artists, right? Like how did Rucci initially pop up on, you know what I mean? Like, what's your artist discovery process? It sounds like obviously like Sean is, you know, out there in the field and like, you know, knowing what's moving and like who's up next.
Sean
like,
is really good at finding new artists. He
Okay.
tapped us in with like Lil Got It back in the day, Ola Ron, all the, you know, the new artists that we were working with. He really brought it in. But also shout out to Tyler Hooks. He's our new producer. He interned at our studio now. He's our first producer. He taps us into the LA scene too. So he's telling us who's popping up, or actually all over the country. He's younger. He knows, you know, who's coming up.
You need the young guys, man.
Yeah.
Crucial.
Yeah. No, I just feel like that, you know, even someone like Rucci who's been doing this a while, you know, still might not be on like every person's radar. And I think that y'all are trying to your point, not just get the radio hits. Those are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure those, you know, back end royalties are nice, right? And it's a great thing to have on your resume. But y'all seem like you want to build like that timeless project with an artist that's on the come up. It sounds like, right?
Yeah, and when you're a producer on the come up, you're going to work with whoever wants to work with you. You know what I mean? So you're going to take a lot of sessions, even if they don't all the way fit for what you're doing, and then you're going to try and crunch a bunch of beats before the session and just try and make it happen. But a lot of times, sometimes those artists like surprise you. You're like, oh, they do the same shit every time, but let's see what happens. Sometimes they surprise you. You're like, whoa, they're way doper in person. You know, other times they're what you expect, but like it gets to a point where like you want to work with someone that you are inspired by, that you think you can nail it with, you know what I mean? Versus like there's only so many days in a year. It's like you got to use your time wisely and try and target people that you think you can make a dope record with, you know?
Yeah. No, that's true. So I wanted to get your input on this. I think y'all either have already gone to or are about to go to the camp radio writers camp.
We just did that. Yeah.
Okay. So I look at like these writers camps all the time
Because we're considering a writer's camp as well.
Yeah, and just, you know, we went to the Since the 80s one here in Atlanta. You know, shout out Zeke and those guys. That was super dope. You know, we got to see some really great sessions happening, and just there were tons of dope producers and writers and
Like
artists, right?
10 rooms,
Yeah.
just something going
It
on
was,
in every
you know,
room.
it was a really dope event, right? And you know, really dope experience for us to see. We talked to a bunch of people there, and everyone has kind of their own approach to when you're at something like that, because it's a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah,
There's
like,
a-
where do you fit in?
yeah, like how do y'all navigate those types of camps, right?
You
Like
have to be
for
kind
all-
of aggressive, right? Like a little bit.
Well, I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
everyone kind of has their own style. So, like, what's y'all style when you show up to something like that?
I mean, it depends on how it's structured, right? I mean, the camp we just went to, you just mentioned the rap.
I swear that's the last time I hit that button.
The rap shit camp was fire.
We should have a
Yeah.
fucking Henry hitting the button like counter
Count,
going.
yeah, we
on.
should.
It's never even happened before, and it's the fourth time I did
Yeah,
it.
I'm so confused.
The
But
Hennessy, you know?
yeah,
What are you gonna do?
So everything leads back to Hennessy.
Yeah.
They better drop the bag for these guys, but
Yeah.
they won't. But anyway,
The radio shit was fire. I'm not gonna lie, it was very well put together. You know, we got
because
shit
that's Issa
done.
Rae's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
Shout out-
that's the Ray in radio.
I know.
And that was cool.
Issa Rae
She
is
came at the
amazing.
end. We got to meet her. She heard the records. It was a
Hell
dope
yeah.
camp.
The
Like,
camp
one
was for rap shit.
one of the best put together camps we've probably been to. Probably
Okay.
the best camp that we've been to.
Why?
Yeah.
Why do you say like? You know, what about it? You know, just for those once again that don't know even what it.
It wasn't
Give an example of a bad camp. And
A bad camp
good
would be like,
yeah.
right, so sometimes, I don't know.
And like name the bad camp.
Put them on blast.
Look straight into this camera right here.
So here, top draft of bad camps.
Bad camp draft.
Bad camp.
But
We could
camps,
do that too.
I mean, camps are great to network and to work with people you haven't worked with. So don't get me wrong. We like going to camps, show face, see what it's about. We'll see people you haven't seen in a while. You can link with them. Sometimes you get beats and records that you never thought you would get out of those camps. So don't get me wrong. We fuck with camps. Just sometimes
Big camp guys over here.
He's a camper.
I'm a camp counselor at this point.
camp counselor. Pause, bro. That's weird.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah. But
I don't even know what that means yet.
Trying to understand.
God, now
The
we're coming
Henny,
to camp.
bro.
We're like, man,
Henny speaking at this point.
Listen.
Henny speaking.
They started making weird camp jokes and shit.
Here's what happened at camps a lot of times. All right, in general.
Yeah.
I don't know, A&R, record labels, whatever, they think sometimes that you put, okay, we're going to get, Bankroll Got It mixed with Murda, mixed with, put Jetson in there, put one of the guys we just signed in there. That's going to be fire because they're all going to go crazy.
No, we need at least 2 more producers in there.
More.
They're
We
gonna
need
go
a couple
crazy.
more in there.
Yeah, a
We
couple
need
ATL
more.
Jacob in there.
Yeah, and then
Jacob.
then it'll be like an older one, like someone that you're like, oh shit, I didn't even know you're making beats still, And then
Big Crit's still making beats, bro.
Big crib. Vinyl's gonna be in there. Yeah,
shout out,
Vinyl's is hard. One of the greatest ever.
Yeah, but then you got 8 different writers in there too. Maybe 2 established, and it whatever. Good opportunity for everybody. But then you're just sitting here and you're looking around, going, "What the hell are we doing in here?" Because for the most part, I think a couple, 2 producers is cool, especially ones that are more focused on loops and one more focused on drums, right? Or even 3 is cool if you know them and everything. But I don't know. They think that 5 together is going to make a bigger hit than just 1. To be honest, though, when we go to these camps, especially for the artists, that's the crazy one because everybody's kind of fighting to meet the artist or to try to get a placement. It's like
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
oh, too many. No, it's too
Way
many.
too many.
It's like if an artist walked through the mall with no security, because it's like everybody is just only focused on getting the bag and the placement. That it's chaotic. If I was an artist, I would never even go to these camps. Like, why would I go somewhere that everybody wants something from me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. They just put too many people in the room, and then it's like usually we will prepare before. A lot of producers will. Like, you got beats, you got a pack that you're ready to play, and now all of a sudden you have these 3 other people, and it's like, okay, well, I guess we got to work together. And unless you really know the person, sometimes you make the best beat you ever made. Don't get me wrong, if you never work with somebody, but a lot of times you kind of make mid stuff that's just kind of because you're trying to cater to what they do, and everybody got to get in there, and it's slow, and then the riders are trying to ride, and then sometimes they want a different vibe, so it just gets confusing, and you end up just kind of looking around like, what are we doing here?
And then other times it's like they don't even give you time slots. It's just like, yo, just pull up whenever, and then just like all the rooms are like free for all, and it's just like, what the hell's going on, But like the better camps are like less people, but the right amount of people, enough people that it's a good collaboration like mix. And then you have a time slot, you know what you're doing. You're supposed to be in the room. You're supposed to have the aux. You don't have to be aggressive. You don't have to go in there because we're not the aggressive folks that are going to fight for the aux so that we can get the placement. We're like, if that's the vibe, then we're just probably going to sit back and network.
We're not real Atlanta producers because Atlanta out here is so collaborative. But man, that aux game is crazy. You got to just. You got to plug it in and then manipulate someone and then talk to them. Oh, you look at this girl right here, blah, blah, blah. Just snag that off. Just plug that shit in. That's the Atlanta shit.
Yeah. I think the Since the 80s one was probably in the middle of what you're describing. So it did seem a little chaotic and a little bit of the free-for-all shit going down, right? But then it did seem to be like there was scheduled, like, this artist and these producers are going to be in this room. This artist and these producers and this writer or these writers will be in this room. So there did seem to be some method to the madness, but yet there was some of that just like fucking hyenas, trying to get the ox and like that kind of free for all shit that sounds like really stressful. I was glad that I was there as like a complete third party observer.
So you got to go into those opportunities just thinking, okay, what do I want to get out of this? And like first and foremost, just network and just talk to everybody, meet people, catch up, see what opportunities are going around. Really when you go to these things, you got to just talk to everybody you can, and then just see what's going on in the room, kind of fill out the camp, and just try your best. So
I mean, sometimes you're going to forget about people. They're going to forget about you. Just being in the same room, seeing them. Oh, what's good? We should lock in again. Just heard what you did, boom, and then boom. Now you got a session, and in a few days,
you got to go everything with a good attitude too. Like you don't want to go into these camps and be like, "Yo, fuck this. I'm too good for this shit." Because at the end of the day, we're all just trying to make it, and and just trying to get that next record. So you don't want to put a bad attitude out there. A lot of time you don't want to. Put any bad energy out there.
It's an opportunity. It's still an opportunity for anyone in the building, and to create whatever opportunity you can.
Especially for up-and-coming producers, Like take every opportunity. Don't ever act like you're too big for a situation because that's where a lot of your records will come from. But
for sure. But I still think that, at the end of the day, like having dope beats is almost just like the bar, right? Like everyone at those things has to just have some level of just like your production is good. Yeah. So I think that y'all are wise to take the approach, and everyone out there should probably, take this advice of like people work with people that they like, bro. Like at the end of the day, if you could be in a studio with someone you like who's got dope beats or someone you don't like that's got dope beats, who the fuck are you getting in a session with, right? I mean, it's just it's obvious, right? To to some degree. So I think that just being around and likable and just personable and just real fucking humans and not placement robots that are just trying to suck the placements out of everyone there. Yeah. Like that goes a long way.
Actually, that's some of the best advice that people could take right there, is because when you're in one of those sessions and someone's mad aggressive and like weird, it's like, all right, they might get this one little record that's not going to do anything, and now we don't fuck with them. You know what I mean? Or if someone else too. Like you get a bad vibe. It's like versus you could just kick back. Yeah, hey, you play beats. Like
that's a good one. Let's talk about that real quick, because this is what the craziest thing about an upcoming producer is. It's you look at these albums, right? Like Little Baby albums, Lil Key, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, whatever. Most of the time, if you don't get the single, your life is not changing from these placements. You know what I mean? So that's something that I think we thought when we were coming up. It's like, damn, like if all we need to do is get on whatever A-list artist that you want to name, if we get anything on there, our life is changing because everybody's listening. And then you look at the streams, and it hits millions. It could even be 20 million streams. Times that by our royalty rate on Spotify and Apple Music, it's like, okay,
pay rent for a couple months.
Shit, not even that, bro. It's something like 150 per million streams for us on our BMI rate for the Spotify or whatever, So it's like, damn, you work a year and a half to finally get that one big one, and it just kind of like music is like a drug. It's like worse than heroin, where it's like you feel so fucking good when you get to that, you nailed it, right? And then 2 weeks later, and everybody moves on to the next album, and it's like, and you just realize that these albums don't do nothing like that, The lows always feel worse than the highs feel good. And you're on Instagram watching everybody, posting their best successes every day, and you're like, you get so mad, like, damn it, I'm not doing enough, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, you need to be tapping in with these up and coming artists, and really, you're going to catch a single with them. You're not going to catch a single with Little Baby at this point. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Some people do. Yeah, you're just looking at them like, you're lucky that I'm not lucky. You worked hard for that, but it's like, you really need to build an infrastructure of all these artists. So that was our plan, getting our tag. We gave out beats for free forever until we got like a couple placements to the point where we could charge. It's like, we want to Bankroll Got It all over the city of Atlanta, all over Texas, all over wherever,
We should talk more about this, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's like,
what was it sounds like, dive a little deeper into the strategy to even be at these camps and, having gotten all these, placements and scattered all about,
I feel like Taylor had something he wanted to say.
No, I mean, this is like how we came up or whatever. So, I mean, there's a big philosophy, know your value. I don't want to say exactly what the slogans are, but, like these beats have value, I'll say, But in reality,
no free beats.
No free beats. Sure.
Is the slogan?
I don't agree.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's
kind of we don't like that slogan.
No, that's the opposite. We're really the opposite.
But a lot of producers out there on the internet specifically are preaching the
and they're not
hashtag
fucking beats.
Here's the thing. I respect everybody's approach, and everybody comes from different situations, especially and most producers don't have any money whatsoever, so it's like, you need to get paid for your craft and everything. But our point is, it's like, what is a beat worth? Think about it. So
How many people are making beats? What's your beat
A
worth?
beat, I always think
It's
of it
50% of the song.
it's almost, this sounds horrible to say, but it's like a little kid drawing a picture and you look at it. Are you going to pay money for that? Why? Because it's not worth anything. Now, if it's Northwest painting it, it might be worth $1 million, right? So it's all about branding. It's like, okay, what is this beat that you made worth? If it sounds like everybody else, you have no brand. So you're saying no free beats, pay me, but your beat's not worth anything because you're not worth anything as a producer. It's a hobby. You know,
people aren't paying for the beat; they're paying for the brand.
Exactly. Making beats is a hobby. We're living our dream right now, and don't get me wrong, it's amazing. Like we're living our best life right now, but it's
off
a
the
hobby.
henny, off the henny,
It's a
bro.
hobby. You know what I
Listen.
mean?
And when you charge these when you charge these indie artists, sometimes they can afford it. A lot of times they don't, and you price yourself out of records, and now no record came out.
Right.
Versus you give something away for free. Now you got this record, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're leveraging these records for the next record. Now you're on to still give them out for free. Who cares? Now you the whole thing is levered. And then by the time you've made it to the level where you're working with artists that are signed to real labels, now you can really get in advance. You're not asking for someone to have money. They're just like you. Like if you don't have an investor and you're indie, they don't have money. So like
They're paying for the music video. They're paying for the engineer. They're paying. Artists are paying everything.
Right. So you
They're
can't
broke
expect
as shit.
them. Exactly. So like you got to don't take the artist money, take the label's money.
Yes.
You know, you got to get
Exactly.
to the level where the labels can pay you.
So don't work with independent artists.
Absolutely.
That's the opposite. That's the opposite. Work with everyone
independent.
for free.
Yeah.
And also, until you get there, have another way to make money so that you can live until you get to the point where you bring in an income from the labels, and then you could transfer to doing your passion full time. But until then, your back's gonna be against the wall, and you're gonna force people for $100 here, boom, boom, boom. You're gonna price yourself out of records, and then you're not gonna get anywhere.
And the money that you're making on your side job is the money that's going into investing into making sure the artist has a comfortable experience, enjoys themselves, wants to come back and make more music with you, right?
Yeah, I just think once again, there's two sides to every
sure.
coin, right? And so I do hate that we live in a world where like getting your start, your production maybe shouldn't have a price tag on it if you really want to, build relationships with artists who also can't afford your beats necessarily, right? But it's just sometimes the money shit makes it weird too, man. Like when these producers do come out and like, yo, I need $250 for this beat and stuff, like you're risking the relationship sometimes over $250, bro.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, then you're
You
going to
really
wait
are.
2 years to make $100 on the back end.
To that point, we gave Asian Doll free beats.
If you're lucky, yeah.
All the way. We met her out here. So one thing, we traveled to South by Southwest on our own dime, right? Met her, built with her, gave her all the beats for free. When she signed at the time to Alamo, and we got 5 on that album, it was almost like it was worth it. You get a 25 grand check, and then you're like, okay, that was worth it. Yes, you need the money now, and I get it. And everybody comes from different backgrounds, different situations, So
But for that example, all those songs that we made with her, she was independent, and then she signed to a label, and then all those songs were on her first project as a label, and then we got money from the label. So we were gonna give them for free, but then she signed.
All right, so let me ask you this.
That's actually a gem, though. Just for anyone listening, if you do give an artist a free beat and they do sign with a major, you can then negotiate.
Yeah. Then you should
An
get money.
advance.
Yeah. No, it's not free anymore. Once you're there
That's
with
huge.
the label.
A lot of producers might not know that, so I just wanted
the label wants to pay because they have to buy
The label has to pay
they
you,
want to own the masters.
They need the contract. They need the documentation to say that they can use it. So they're not going to miss on the business.
Yeah. So, but I want to ask around because I've talked with Henry a lot about this as far as how many Asian dolls were there? Meaning, like, how many artists were you hedging your bets on? Right? Because either we're sitting next to lottery winners where like Asian Doll ended up getting to a point where y'all then got in the industry and then you worked your move from there, whatever, right? But if you're an up and coming producer, how did you kind of like hedge your bets on like what artists might get to a point that then your career, because it sounds like that really did like start.
It is a lottery.
No. Well, I'll say specifically about someone like Asian Doll, it's not a lottery because when we were working with her, one thing we saw in her was that not only is she recording all the time, she's all over social media, but like crazy, blowing
She
her
had a
fan
brand.
base up. She had a brand, and like we saw something special. Like, oh, she's
working
really
fucking
hustling.
hard.
She's working hard. She's hustling. Like, that's the type of person you want to work with versus like someone who's making music, not doing anything online, anything on social media. Really, like, you really have to choose who you think's gonna be big. You know what I mean? Too, if you want to play that lottery, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, people who make great music, they can be big just on their catalog. But you're making that decision as well. You know.
Yeah.
And
That's huge
That's
right
on us
there.
as producers. You know, you just like right now, South by Southwest is going on, right? So what we would do, look at not the shows that we didn't even buy the tickets to go to the South by official show. You look at the little bars and little shows right there, and you look at the whole roster of every show in the whole city.
Just DM those artists.
Not even DM them.
We didn't have to.
pull
You just
up.
show
You
up.
fly there and pull up.
There's only 30 people in the
We would
audience,
stay
so
in, like,
then you just talk to them after.
Yeah, we
Half
stay in
those
like
shows are
Airbnb
scams.
hostels,
Yeah.
like cheap ass fucking places just to get there. You know, fly.
Sorry,
to find,
not sorry. Half of the Southwest shows are scams. Clip that, Ben. Clip that. There's so many.
Push
I'm
that
sorry.
button.
Expand.
Yeah, I'm surprised you
What's a
didn't-
scam about them?
Oh, I mean, so the smaller stages are basically people that have just curated enough independent artists, and then all the people in the audience at those shows are the people that just the homies of the artists that came out. I've experienced it. It's been going on for years. The smaller, like nothing against the bigger
yeah.
stages.
We're talking
We'll
about the
clarify.
bars. We're
We've
talking
actually-
about the outside shows.
We've actually never had
Yeah.
a ticket to South by Southwest. We would show up
No, we're
and then
talking
we would
about-
go to the bars on the main
On
street.
Sixth Street.
6th Street,
or
right
A3C,
next to South
right?
by.
Yeah.
A3C. We're
They're doing
going
shows
on,
there, too.
What's the street called? What's it called?
Peachtree or Edgewood. I mean,
Edgewood
yeah.
shows
Uh-huh.
like that. So
Yeah, yeah.
we met Asian Doll on one of those shows. You don't have to
Yeah.
go on the show. So everybody's in town. They're going to do other shows, right? So
Oh, there's definitely like networking
yeah,
opportunities
so you,
galore.
you
Yeah.
for
could
sure.
walk up to them and just be like, "Hey, I just did a blah blah blah. Do you want beats?" You know, and especially if you're giving them for free,
Yes.
why would they say no? You know, I mean, obviously they don't know who you are, so you got to really build with them. You know, but
Yeah, I think
I
what
mean-
you're saying is
Yeah.
more so like he's probably speaking to the whole pay to play thing. A lot
I
of
know
those,
we know
exactly
that.
what-
Yeah.
yeah, it's like a lot of those smaller.
But we don't care about that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like who
Yeah.
fucking cares?
Good,
As long
like,
as
you paid for that, but we'll give
Yeah,
you two still. You know, I don't care what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I mean, yeah, like the artists should probably look into whether they should pay $250 for a performance fee.
And if they are good, they're hustling. They're getting out there. Like, you know,
and
that's a good thing.
they're shooting
Right.
their shot too. You know what I mean?
In 2016, we met Jack Harlow performing in front of probably 25 people.
Wow.
And we noticed like this guy's fire as fuck. Met him. That's back when we
We
were
would see
taking
him at every year. We'd go to some.
We'd see him, man.
again.
He was
We'd see
growing
him
and everything.
again,
We
see
thought
him
it was
again.
dope. At the time, he was locked in with his producer, so it's like there wasn't an angle for us, but we were just watching him at that point. We'd always dab him up, say what's up to him, and that's what you got to do with
It
these
takes
people,
years
you
for
know?
this shit, bro.
Yeah.
Damn.
Long
Yeah.
plays. It's a long game
Exactly.
for sure.
That's got to be pretty cool to have just
Yeah.
like as a weird third party observer, just witness Jack's trajectory just from even like those South by Southwest
Yeah.
days, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
dope.
It shows
yeah.
he puts in the work. Like,
Yeah.
That's why
Right,
he was.
right.
It was coordinated. It's the shit like people think people blow up out of nowhere. These
Yeah.
these motherfuckers have been working for
Yeah.
years.
Anyways, no, man, you
Exactly.
guys have an amazing story, right? Like just the grind that it takes. And I think like if y'all didn't take shit from this, really like working a fucking side job is not a knock to your ego. Like that,
I hate that, yeah.
that shit can
Please.
fund
You have to is the takeaway.
Well, yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not just
Yeah.
popping off music.
Yeah.
immediately.
So I just think that like that while you just put in the work and take the risks. I mean, you guys have taken risks, whether it's the studio investment, whether it's the flights to South by Southwest, the freaking, working this music shit as a side hustle until it paid for itself. Like, I mean, you guys are definitely risk takers and this shit is paying off. So like, shout out to you guys. Appreciate you guys coming on. We have entered
appreciate it.
a final segment where Henry can finally hit this fucking button.
Oh shit! I can finally hit the button.
You've already hit it around 17.
Hit it with your elbow.
Yeah,
Actually.
hit it with the elbow.
I
boys.
will. We got to figure out how to do it. I'm thinking. So this is the rapid fire rampage.
There it is.
So it says rampage.
You finally hit it at the
That's
right
what
time.
it says.
It's from Archer. I don't know if you ever seen Archer. Great show. Anyway, normally this is one person, but I'm thinking that if we go quick enough, we can get answers from both on all of these, and we can just make a less rapid fire rampage.
I would just cut your questions about in half and let's get answers from both.
Okay, it's a 3-part rampage. We're gonna start with some short answers,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. We'll just go quick. Boom. We'll start with Joel, then Taylor. Rapid Fire Rampage, episode 99. One more time podcast. One more time. Here we go. You guys are forced to change your production name to something else. What do you change it to?
That's me.
I guess either one. We could go open format.
Sunscreen Boys.
No, you don't even need to say anything. That was fire. That was fire.
Oh man.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm pale enough to join.
Yeah, all right. You knew.
Take
You
Ben.
in
Okay.
the team.
I can't make any beats though. But
I got,
That's why we stay in
golf,
the
I got
studio.
golf glove. My left hand could join. See that golf glove?
it's not that bad.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of bad. You see it? Okay. You guys could pick any artist right now to do a collaboration project with. Who is it?
Right now, through Greedo.
Taylor?
On the way.
I mean, anyone?
Anyone?
Hopefully one day.
21 Savage.
You're gifted a giraffe. You can't sell it. You can't give it away. What do you do with it?
Keep it.
Have him shit in your backyard.
I think he's going to do that anyway. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it in my backyard for my son.
And
Oh, yeah.
for your son? No.
my
Shout out
son.
to his Keon. Shout out to Keon.
He's 10 months. He's gonna love it.
bro,
Baby Keon.
When's his birthday?
His birthday May
24th?
16th.
24th. My son.
A week
10
away.
months old.
Damn. Cheers
Yeah.
to that. That's crazy.
Cheers to you.
You almost stunned me. I'm on the Hennessy. I'm like, I almost missed his birthday. Yeah.
shit.
I'm
Like,
like, oh,
was
no,
it
you
yesterday?
Can't slip on this. Yeah.
The baby
May
mom's gonna
16th,
watch and
shout
be
out.
like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Your life
Congrats to
has
you.
changed, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
Shout out to
It was your
dads
first, right?
Yes.
in the
Mine
group.
too.
Oh my God.
And also shout
Yeah.
out the smart people in the group.
I actually took him to the zoo. He loved the giraffes, by the way. Yeah, he was looking at them.
So he'd be totally fine with having one in the backyard,
Loved
shitting all
it,
over
yeah.
it.
Yep.
Okay,
Love that, love that.
Perfect.
Bankroll Got It. What are 3 ways to use a stapler besides stapling?
What the fuck kind of questions are these?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see where your brains are at. Anyone?
What? Use a stapler?
Besides stapling, 3 ways to use a stapler.
Your mouth shut?
I mean, you could
That's-
probably beat someone's
still
ass with a
stapler.
stapler.
Yeah.
Beat someone's ass is one.
Okay. Yeah, that's the kind of
Oh, because
logic.
I use the same.
yeah, you
That's
can't.
stapling, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
work. Yeah. Beat someone's ass is valid. 1. Can we get 2 more ways to use a stapler besides stapling?
Throw it at somebody?
Yeah.
Throw it at someone. That's
Okay.
good.
Oh, I got to go in for you.
Run it.
No, it's not going to work. Actually, I got to think about it.
Yeah.
Pushing the space bar on Pro Tools.
Ooh, engineer stapler.
Okay.
Like,
It's just like an extension of your hand. Like if you can't reach
like
it.
let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I was just going to
Again.
say, throwing it in the garbage because we don't print paper anymore. Bankroll Got It is about the environment.
Sustainable.
That's perfect.
There's some sustainable motherfuckers over
Bankroll
here.
sustainable.
Yes.
I love it.
Go green with Bankroll.
Yep.
Bankroll Got It. You must delete 3 states. Which states are we deleting?
That's a great one.
Yeah. You can go 111, however you guys want to do it.
Man, I mean, I don't even know if Iowa's a real. If people live there.
They don't.
Delete it.
It's gone now.
It's
I don't
gone.
even know
Off
if
the
people know
board.
that that's a state.
Off the
I was
board.
off the board.
People definitely can't point it out on the map.
Can you
for
guys
sure.
name a city in Iowa? I can't.
Iowa City?
Oh fuck! All right. Well, there you go.
We might have made that
Fucking
up.
geography.
I was
nerds.
gonna-
I don't know. It's
I was
probably
going
not
to say
even real.
Boise. I think that's Idaho.
Idaho.
It's
Yeah.
definitely Idaho.
You're deleting a lot
feel
of
like-
the potato supply.
Idaho. That's an offensive state. We got
Yeah. No, Idaho.
So
So,
we're progressive.
so are we
Iowa-
deleting Iowa and Idaho? Okay.
Iowa,
That's 2.
The guys hate the I states.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Get another
No,
Iowa. in there.
Idaho. We can keep Idaho.
No, it's too
Idaho.
late. You deleted all the
It seemed-
potatoes.
I heard it's beautiful out there.
One more. Nope.
I heard it's
gone.
beautiful.
I feel like Alaska,
Man.
bro. Like
Alaska's-
Alaska, it should be part of Canada, to be honest. Bro.
Yeah.
It's
Give
way
it to
out
them.
there,
Or Russia. Yeah.
or Russia,
Or
right.
Russia.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Gone.
Like, I'm not
I
saying
don't know
that
about Russia, but yeah, maybe Canada.
Canada should have that.
Putin's
I
got
don't
it.
know why we got that. Probably some more. shit.
Putin's got his eye on
Yeah.
Alaska for sure.
Keep the tabs on Russia.
Moving on. Invent an app.
You trying to just tell us what the app would be?
You tell me what the
I
app's
mean, we
gonna be.
actually tried to do that once. I'm gonna be
Let's hear it.
honest. Yeah,
Let's
we,
go.
we actually made an app that was giving beats away for free. It let
Ooh.
producers upload them 100% for free, and then artists could just go in, create a username, and just get beats for free. Because we're so about
They get
people
back end,
coming up,
obviously,
and they got
publishing.
and they got back end. They got all
Yeah.
the credit, 50-50, whatever.
Sure. But 0 on the master. but 50% of publishing.
Yeah, no upfront money or whatever,
Yeah.
but just everything was back end.
It's like YouTube, but legit.
It's like YouTube, but legit. That was actually the goal.
It's like YouTube meets BeatStars.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. With no
Right,
money,
I like
we
it.
made it. We got like 10,000 subscribers, but then the production stuff just got too heavy, and we're just like, we just got to go full force and
Producer mode.
Producer mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't tell if he's serious about this.
No,
No,
he's
it's
serious.
100%
Okay, wow.
we did it. Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
I was like, this
Yeah.
sounds outlandish.
Yeah,
but-
we
that's
did it.
great.
We did it.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
That actually could still work too. But anyway, moving on. The best fast food chicken sandwich. Go.
I know which one.
We'll take 2
Oh,
answers.
Popeyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say something.
Yeah. That's the only correct answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely agree. It's the one.
All right. We're not here in the land of Chick-fil-A or anything, but you
This
know.
guy's
Chick-fil-A is
Chick-fil-A
great, but
fucking
Popeyes. Well, Popeyes when it hits, it hits.
But when
Dude,
it
it's
doesn't,
the best.
When it doesn't, it doesn't. You know?
Chick-fil-A is consistent like a motherfucker.
And
In the
yeah.
words of Nimesh Patel, you like Chick-fil-A, you are a poor white person.
And
Last one of
don't
the
ask us
short-
about just fast food in general because you already know it's in and out. So like, you know,
No, well,
don't
yeah,
play
we're
with
gonna
those.
bring that
You don't
up.
wanna get
We
that
don't wanna know
conversation.
about that.
Yeah.
Last one of the short answer. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Taylor,
Part one.
gotta go fuck.
Okay.
The
Double fuck.
The goat.
part
Love
one.
it. Part one.
This is our first time with 2 guests.
Yeah. We're navigating.
How'd that go for
We're
you?
navigating.
I feel like-
It's good. It's a
I
little.
feel like you're weird if you say like cunt or something. You're like, all right,
Yeah, that's like
chill,
aggressive.
Chill.
That's
Like,
aggressive,
yo,
you
you're
know,
We've had some shits, which is cool. Like
shit is fine. Yeah.
damn.
People,
had a couple
bitch,
dams.
you're a bitch. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bitch
You
is
know,
not in good taste.
Bankroll Got
I feel
It
like,
respects women, so you know.
Facts.
Yeah, on
Facts.
God we do.
Okay.
Oh God, we do.
The second part. This is the second part out of 3. This is the this or that. I'm going to give you 2 choices, and
Yep.
all you got to do is pick one.
Oh, that's easy.
Here we go. And the first one, I'm just going to go. First one to shout out an answer is what we're going with. So
now we're really trying to get it rapid.
it's getting more rapid at this point.
If you want your answer counted, be quick.
YouTube video or podcast?
YouTube video.
Chinese food or breakfast food?
Breakfast food.
Lose all your current music or lose everything in your checking account?
Checking account. Because we'll always make more.
Ooh, okay. I was like,
That's a motherfucking bar.
He backed it up. Wait, I got my next one is a bar. You're gonna like this. This is a bar. Ready?
All right, we'll see.
Watch this. Tiger Backwoods or LeBong James?
Tiger backwards.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
It's just disappointed.
It's
he really hyped that up, man. I was
smoking
like,
preferences. Well, I thought Rucci was going to be on the podcast, and he would have appreciated it. So,
well,
anyway.
we got stuck with Bankroll Got It instead.
Rucci would have walked out of here. I'm just playing. No,
he would have
Rucci
said
cool.
Tiger Backwoods.
No, he would have said LeBong. He's
Yeah,
you know that
he
he's
Yeah,
smokes
so
a
he-
bong.
literally
that's actually why.
So
yeah.
he shows up to
His
every single
roar.
session with a bong.
with the
Yeah.
glass. Yeah, fire.
No other artist we've ever worked with smokes out of a bong. Rucci every single session. So shout
Bro,
out to
I've
Rucci
So
never-
for
that question
Yeah,
was
yeah.
for him.
I've never seen a bong smoke so casually before.
He brings it.
Every
He's just like
time.
on the block just with a bong.
Yeah.
And just like,
Yeah.
bro, usually people are smoking blunts or papers or
Yeah,
whatever.
that was
Right.
like college for us, you know.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Even more ruthless. I'm like, man, this dude's just out there.
All right, moving on. Give up hats or give up hoodies?
We don't wear hats like that, so keep hoodies.
Give up air conditioning or give up deodorant?
In LA, fuck.
I gotta stick with the deodorant because that's a reflection on me. You know.
Yeah, deodorant.
I don't know. There's not enough deodorant.
I'm
taking
Can save you from the
my
sweat. From the sweat.
My shit's smelling regardless
Yeah.
if it's hot. Okay. Give up your sight or give up the family jewels?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like sight's the best sense. You know,
important.
Yeah, you gotta have
keep
sight.
sight. I mean,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sucks. That's a horrible question.
That's a terrible.
You're
yeah.
losing your nuts. Just to
Yeah.
be clear on this question.
Yeah, just
Oh,
so
but
that
you could. You still got your.
Yeah,
still
but,
got
but
the-
can you?
the-
I don't even know if you can
the
come.
pecker.
I don't think you can come without the
Well,
nuts.
mean-
yeah, I mean, when you get your tubes tied, you know.
All right, yeah, all right, fair enough. Yeah.
This is above my scientific pay grade. I'm not
us
quite
too,
sure.
Us too. Yeah.
Last question of the this or that. Become country producers or leave the music industry.
We're always gonna be in the music industry.
Yeah,
so
country.
we gotta do country.
We're gonna
Country's
go-
getting a
we're about
bag
to go
right now. Have you
crazy.
seen that shit?
I should have
Morgan
gone with.
Wallen hit us up. We're about to go crazy.
I should have gone with
Yeah.
something else. I should have gone with like death metal producers.
Yo,
or
I bet they
something.
pay producers on time.
Yeah,
I bet the country genre pays producers on time.
better than the rap industry.
What's up,
Shit,
rap?
you'd
Right.
probably be surprised.
Maybe. I
You
don't
never
know.
know.
You
Yeah,
never
I
know.
know. Nah, you're
Really
right. I have
don't
no
know.
experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so for this last part is the word association, and I have an
Wait,
idea.
I have to piss so bad right now.
Okay, this will be very fast.
Okay.
Let's run it
1
quick.
minute.
I'm gonna go here, here, here,
I'm gonna just
here.
let it rock.
Yo, if Bankroll Got It pisses on our podcast, we might go viral.
It'll go viral for sure.
Like
Yeah.
our pants.
We're gonna zoom in like big
Yeah.
purple.
So look, I'm gonna say one word, and then all I need is one word back. First word off the top of your head. I'm gonna go here, here, here. We're gonna be like just like this. And this is the word association Rapid Fire Rampage, episode 99. Here we go. Hip hop.
The best.
808.
Mafia.
Ad lib.
Mama.
Yeah, that's it. That's
There
it.
we go. Joel, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
What he said.
So, okay, yeah. Back to Taylor. Politics.
Not interested.
Moon.
It's bright.
Champagne.
Pop it.
Oprah.
Legend.
Podcast.
You guys.
One more time.
Family.
Everything.
Crack.
Cocaine.
King.
James.
OnlyFans.
I got a wife.
Troll.
You.
One more time.
Facts.
Lil.
Got it.
Bankroll.
Got it.
You only get the back. Got it.
You're very proud of yourself.
Back to
This
back,
has
got
been This has been Bankroll Got It on the One More Time podcast. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Hit the bell, bitch.
Please comment if you thought Henry hit that fucking rampage button too many times with his elbow this episode. We promise that will never happen again. And
Thank
until
you guys
next
so
week,
much for coming on for
Yeah.
us.
Sir, thank
Until
you
next
guys.
week,
You guys.
everybody doing?
Appreciate y'all.
It's our first one.
We're getting out of here.
Yeah, get the
First
fuck outta
video
here.
interview, baby. Let's go.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Pop that shit like one more time.